Hi guys, welcome to class. I'm just going to allow a couple more people to come in from the waiting room and then we're going to get started. Make sure you don't have a profile picture on, and I am going to go ahead and just switch it to the next slide here so that you can see what I expect in class. I've got a different view on this today, so let's see if this is going to work out for me. There we go. All right, so there's our class agenda while I let a last few people in. There's nothing that you need today to print to be prepared for class. Everything's digital today. Just thought that we could just lighten the load a little bit of all the printing and things like that when we've got everything at our fingertips digitally. So tomorrow I am going to give you something, just one piece of notes that kind of reviews everything we've learned this week. And so you will need to print something tomorrow. All right, I'm going to allow the last few people in here. And just a reminder to, kind of remind your friends that they do need to have their first and last name in order to be admitted to Zoom classes. So sometimes we get messages saying, oh, I can't get in, I couldn't get in, it didn't work. But a lot of times it's just because they're waiting in the waiting room and they're not paying attention to the messages we're sending them, saying for them to rename themselves with first and last name. So kind of try to help us when you're out there talking to your friends and stuff like that to try to clear that up. All right. So hello, Caleb. Hello, Kate. Hello, Andrew and Tegan. Hello, Caleb. I already said Caleb. Well, hello twice, Caleb. Thanks for you guys saying hello this morning and sending me those messages. All right, so we are going to get started. Hi, Addison. Hi, Chloe. We're going to get started today. Here's our agenda. I'm going to start with an EDSB check-in today, and we're going to try to make this a thing from now on in most of your classes, hopefully all of your classes after today. And we're going to start by going on to EDSB and just seeing where we're finding this information of what I'm supposed to do and what am I looking for exactly as it pertains to my class. Okay, so we're going to start with that. As you can see, that says a graded assignment alert. I see a lot of you have even messaged me saying you've finished that. And what that graded assignment today is, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take IXL as a grade for this week. So the IXL skill for today is 5th grade X2. Now be careful, because a couple of you have said, why are we doing the coordinate grid? It's something pops up where it's the coordinate grid, then you're on the 6th grade X2 skill. So just make sure on the 5th grade one, and don't be discouraged by the fact that it's 5th grade. The way IXL works is the skills only exist in certain places on the website, and in this case, for some reason, it doesn't have median by itself and mean by itself on the 6th grade page. It only has it all together, and I haven't taught you everything on there all together. So I want to go ahead and have you guys practice those in isolation, and those are only on the 5th grade skill. Now I do want to teach you a trick about that, so just hold off. I'm going to teach you a special trick if you don't know the special trick on IXL, and then we're going to learn about the difference between statistical measures of center and measures of variation, and then today's focus is how to calculate median. And then I'm going to model to you the Gizmo computer activity. In fact, it's the same computer activity we did the other day on Monday, except now we're going to do it with median instead of mean. So if you didn't get a chance, if you missed Monday's lesson, remember you need to go back to YouTube and watch it there. It's really important that you do that. And then also practice it on the Gizmo computer activity. And if you didn't do it on Monday, you could just do both of them today and practice mean and median today. That is not for a submitted grade though. Okay, so I'm kind of just trusting you guys to do that practice. It's like independent practice, except I'm not giving you a worksheet. So the thing that you need to turn in today is IXL, finishing that skill. And then on Sunday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it in my grade book, and I'm going to go down and look what your score is, your SMART score on IXL, and that is going to be your grade in the grade book. So you have until Sunday to get it as far as you want in your SMART score. So if you leave it at like 65, then you're going to get a 65 on that grade. Okay, it's not going to be a huge grade in the grade book, but it's still something that you want to try to get as many points in the grade book as possible. So make sure that you put some effort into it, or that you don't just forget about it and then have a 0, because that would stink. So so instead of like IXL bell work, we're doing it as a grade in their grade book. So just make sure you put the word out to your friends on that it is for a grade. It's important. I know some of you have been ghosting IXL. I see that. You're not going to get away with it, okay? So now I'm trying to get you back on there and reinvigorated on IXL, because it's really important that you are practicing, and that's really the best vehicle for you to practice math. IXL in math is, don't tell the other teachers I said this, but it's probably more important in math than it is anything else. So it's really useful in math because it teaches you, and if you get things wrong, it will go back and say, hey, you did this wrong. Read it. See what you did wrong. So do that IXL skill. It is for a grade. And then I just have some reminders here about what I'm expecting you to do when you leave my class today, and that is that IXL skill, watch a video, a math antics video. Okay, it's not the same video as Mondays. It's a different video. And then complete that Gizmo activity. And we'll go back over that at the end of class. But first, I do want to do that EDSB check-in. So I'm just going to let a few stragglers in here. Ooh, more than a few. Ooh, and I had my person rename themselves. Very, very good. Okay, about 10 stragglers. So let me let them in, and then we are going to check EDSB, and I want them to see it, so I want to get them in here. And thank you for those of you that arrived on time. I try to start class pretty much on time. So if you get here late, you might miss some important reminders at the beginning of class. All right, well, I don't know if that just worked, but let me go to our website here. 1 second. Bear with me here, folks. Okay. Let's move to EDSB. Okay, so now I'm going to share EDSB. Oh, we have music. We have beautiful music playing. I don't know if you hear it, but I'm going to stop it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my EDSB page here. So hopefully everyone can see the EDSB page. And I'm going to go to any one of my math periods. It's pretty much the same on all of them. There's only one slight difference, and I'll explain what that is. Okay, so today's post here is in green. We do color code the days. I don't know if your parents have told you that, but the days are color coded. So today's Wednesday. Wednesday's green. So that way you can quickly look on your EDSB pages and see, oh, the green stuff's for Wednesday. That's today. Okay, so here are, let me let a couple more people in that are arriving. Okay, so here's the journal post for today. At the beginning, we have topics covered. That's what we're going over. I always try to put what materials you need right here where it says materials needed. Today, I just said a calculator on a device. You are going to be able to use calculators in statistics because we really just want to see if you know how to do the skill. And then the to-do is where I like to list the things that you have to do. Okay, so first I have, of course, what you're in right now, and that's the Zoom lesson. I try to include the meeting ID as well. And then I put the YouTube channel. That's my YouTube channel that you can go to. So if you don't get to the live version, you can click on that YouTube channel, and let's click on it right now just to see. Because I want everyone to go and like and subscribe. Okay, so here's my YouTube channel with all of 4 videos. And you can see them right here. I tried to label them with the date. Okay, and then I also added a little new feature here. If you click on playlists, click on playlist. I've got, and this is from my point of view, so you don't know, not all of these. You're not going to see all of these. But here you'll see this, videos used in Miss Mel's class. So you can click on the playlist video used in Miss Mel's class, and you'll actually see the video that I'm asking you to watch today and the video that I asked you to watch on Monday. They're right over here in the playlist section. So that's a pretty cool little feature. Anything that I ask you to watch, I'm going to add to that. And I also have a little math songs one here too. So that's just fun stuff that might help you learn because everyone learns in different ways. All right, so that's about YouTube. And then here it says for a grade in the grade book. And I tried to make this very, very noticeable. Because some of you just kind of look at IXL and just look at it and just keep looking and you don't really do it. So a shout out to everyone who's actually been doing their IXL bell work. Okay, I'm going to teach you a trick on IXL. Okay, and this is going to make your life a lot easier. Now, notice I post here search shortcut and it says AAP. So if you go to IXL, and reminder, you need to go to the LearningGate IXL. So that's ixl.com/sign-in/LearningGate. Okay. If you just search IXL on Google, you're not going to go to the right site. It's going to say that you've reached your limit or whatever. Okay. If that's ever happened to you, raise your hand so that nobody sees but yourself. So some of you that's happened and you're like, I've reached my limit. I've been knocked out or whatever. That means that you're not on the LearningGate site. So always go to that link. Then once you're there, at the very top, there's that search feature that your generation loves so much. Let's just search everything. And I love it too. So what you can do is just type in that search shortcut, which was AAP. And then literally that first thing that pops up, matched skill, that's the one I'm asking you to do. Okay, so you don't have to go to like 5th grade, 6th grade, choose find X, find AA, you know, you're just searching it and it brings you right to the skill. So that's a really cool feature. And I'm gonna try to remind my team to use that and maybe post that search shortcut. And the search shortcut is always right there next to it when you go ahead and click into it. So that's one little tip. Let's go back to this. It does say that this is Monday's skill, so don't find the median of those numbers. You need to find the mean, which was Monday's skill, okay? That's because some people do the IXL skill before I teach class, and so I just want to keep it something that you already know. Then you're going to watch the Math Antics video, which is right here. I have it attached, and it's also in those videos shared in math class playlist on my YouTube channel. Watch that. That's, I don't know, about 8 to 10 minutes long. Very, very useful. Clear cut, right to the point, reviews what's going on, and then go ahead and complete the Gizmo tool activity, which is not to be submitted to me. It's not for a grade. It's just your independent practice for the day. Go ahead and click on your tiny URL that I made you right here. Now, this is the part that might get a little bit complex, and that is if you did not go onto the Math Gizmo on Monday, if you've never been on that site, then you are going to need to add the class code, your class code for your period. Okay, so it made me do it by period, not 100 students in one class. So on Monday, I posted your class code on your EDSB page for your math page. So this is period 1. So I'm going to scroll down here and it's right here. See, it says 2 days ago. So just a couple posts ago, there it is, okay, from Monday, and it says, hey, this is your class code, yours is da-da-da-da. So you can't share this with one of your buddies who's not in your period, your old period, you know, your normal period of math, okay? So if they're not in your math period, then you're gonna have a different class code, okay? So you can click on this and this will show you all the tips on how to create an account on that site. I don't care what your username and password is, but you do need to remember it. I'm hoping at some point there it has you put your real name in so that I know who you are. So I'm not sure if that's at the username part or if they ask you your name as well. I think they ask you your name as well because the people that did go on there, Ayla, Chloe, I saw Jake, I saw, oh, there was more people than that. And there weren't that many, but shout out to the people that did go on the Gizmo the other day, okay? I saw their names and it didn't seem like they used it as their usernames necessarily. So I think they have you write your name in there. But again, remember that class code is only for period 1. You do need to do this on your own page if you have not gone in there. If you've already entered the class code, then you don't need to worry because it's going to already have you log in. You need to just log in under your username and password and you'll be in there. You never have to enter the class code again once you've done it once. If you're just joining us late, we are going over where to find what to do for today and, you know, for every day, kind of how to navigate the math EDSB page. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. So you will need to go back and watch this on YouTube because you've missed some stuff. All right, so that's EDSB. We went through EDSB, went through my YouTube, and also finding the YouTube video that you need to watch today on Math Antics. And then we went through IXL and how to do that really cool search shortcut. I hate saying that phrase. And then the Gizmo, that's what we need to go over. Okay, so here's the Gizmo. I told you how to log in. This is where you put the class code. Okay, every class code's different per period. Of course, I'm not putting the class code in because I'm the teacher login. Okay, and then this might look different, obviously, than what it's gonna look like on your end because this is the teacher end, but it will have things for you to do that I've assigned, and those are these little froggies. So click on the little froggies and you can play that game. Now this might just show me results. See, shout out to Jake and Juliana and Ava. Okay, so let me see if they'll just let me go to that Gizmo. We did it. We're going to do it in class, so you're going to see it so shortly. All right, so that's our EDSB check-in for the day. Let me go back to our PowerPoint and get us back on track, and let's get going here. All right, so that's what you need to do. We're going to go over that towards the end as well to remind you what to do. Today, there's one thing that I really need to make clear, and that is the difference between these two statistical measures, okay? This is another addition to vocab, and of course you guys can go and print these PowerPoints. I do like to post them on EDSB so that you can print them. Statistical measures. You've got your measures of center, or sometimes called central tendency, and then you've got your measures of variation or spread. We're focusing really right now so far on measures of center. That's your mean, your median, your mode, your 3 M's, okay? These are a summary of a data set. They basically say, what is your typical answer for this data set? For instance, what's the typical height of a 6th grader? We get all this information. You know, maybe we're measuring you guys in inches, let's say. We have all these numbers that pop up, but we want to know what the typical height is. So that would be a summary of all those numbers, okay? And that could be either with mean, which is average, which is what we went over on Monday, median, which is the middle number, and that's what we're going over today, or mode, which is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, and that's just the number that pops up the most often, okay? And if we were talking about like the ages of 6th graders, mode would probably be the best way to go, because it would just be like, what are most 6th graders, what is the age of most 6th graders? Okay, it's 12 or it's 11, depending upon the time of the year. Okay, so mode does help in some ways, because sometimes I have kids that are like, why aren't we just always finding the average? Well, there's different situations that we would want different measures, and later in the chapter we're going to talk about choosing them right. Okay, and then tomorrow we are going to talk about one measure of variation, and that's range. A measure of variation represents how values are different from each other. So not how they're similar, which is what measures of center kind of talk about. Measures of variation, it's like, how are these numbers different? How far apart are they? Okay, what is their spread? What is their width on the number line? Okay, from the minimum to the maximum, what's that range? Okay, and so we're going to talk about that tomorrow, but you should know the difference. Mean, median, mode measures the center. Pretty much like all the other things that we're going to learn about are measures of variation, how they differ. Okay, all right, so now let's go ahead and move on. Here's just a review. We are talking about median today. I showed you this poster the other day when we went over vocab. The number in the middle is the median. Think of medium when you go to order a drink, or you go to have, like, I don't know, a shirt size or something like that. Median is the middle number. Now, this is a very simple version of median because there are exactly there's an odd number of numbers. So there's a very clear middle. There's exactly 3 numbers to the left and 3 numbers to the right. And so I can find the exact middle. Now, of course, that's when you have them in order from least to greatest. I have a couple people with their hands up, so I'm going to go ahead and call on them. Mr. Cresloy, let's see here. Okay, Mr. Cresloy, do you have a question? Hello? Colin, you there? Okay, maybe he lost his question. All right, Maddox, did you have a question?
Yes, I did.
What is that?
Are we gonna be able to have, this just came to me, are we gonna be able to have like extra credit for like tests and stuff like that?
Let me find out about that. I'll try to. Like, if
Okay,
I'm allowed to do that, I will allow it,
okay,
but it's not up to me all the time. So I'll talk to Mr. Wilford about that one.
alright.
But bonus questions, I gotta find a way to get that involved. Is that what you're kind of talking about? How I usually have a bonus question?
Yeah, I was just thinking like for IXL, like just a bonus lesson or something you could do to
Yeah,
like
you know
raise your
what? There's
grade.
something to be said about that because I usually put a bonus question on my quizzes, and those kind of add up to help you. So I'll use that to advocate for some sort of little extra credit opportunity at some point, especially given the circumstances. Thank you so much, Maddox, for speaking for the people. Oh, and Manrique, what is your question before we move
Oh,
on? You there?
I was wondering. I don't know if you're about to say this. You probably are, but I was going to ask, what happens if you have an even amount of numbers? How do you find the median?
Oh, that was a good thought, and I am going to go over that in just a second in quite a lot of detail. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and lower your hands. I'm going to go ahead and move on now so we can get to that burning question. All right. So first tip from Miss Melanie. With median equals middle number, so remember that, and don't forget to order them from least to greatest. If they're just in no order and you just choose the one that's in the middle, that's just random. That's not telling you anything. Okay, so it's really important you remember putting them in L to the G, least to greatest order. Okay, so calculating median. This is where it gets more complex, okay? So this goes over in, in mathy language. I'm just gonna tell it to you like it is. I'm not gonna read that to you, but you could always go back and see that. That's why I put it there. So a couple of examples. If we have an odd number of elements, you are doing really well because then you know you have a clear middle. Okay, and I always like to use this connection I have for this. Let me just see here, like with my name, Melanie. Okay, so oh, by the way, I've got lava pen today. So look at my lava pen. It's writing in lava, and I think it's pretty rad. Okay. Yes, I said rad. Okay, so here's my name. I like art. I consider myself a bit of an artist, okay? I especially love like personalizing things. When I was your age, I always personalized everything for my friends. And so I did a lot of painting of names and stuff. So my connection to median is this. My name has 7 letters, okay? So there's a clear middle. So A is your middle letter. So when I go to paint my name on something, no matter what it is, I like to start with the A, actually. Because have you ever had that problem where you're like painting or writing something on something important and you start at the beginning and then you run out of room at the end, or you start at the beginning and it's all squished over to the left and then you got like this huge empty space? Well, artists want to pretty much center it and make it equal. So I like to start with A and then write the rest to make sure that they are perfectly spaced out, and then go back and do that. That way you know that it's going to fit and it's not going to be all squished in. Well, I'm lucky because I've got a clear middle in my name, okay? Because I've got an odd number of letters, okay? But let's use Ayla, for example, because that's the one that popped in my head because she's got 4 letters. I guess I could have used my own son's name, Theo. Okay, sorry, Theo. But Ayla has 4 letters, so she doesn't have a clear middle. So she's going to have to find basically the middle of the Y and the L, and that's going to be the middle. So if I were to paint Ayla's name, I would pretty much just do like a Y and an L. I might put like a dot in pencil there so that I know where the true middle is. And then I would put the Y and the L, and then I would go from there to make sure that it was perfectly spaced out. Okay, so that's my connection with letters and art. It's pretty much the same exact thing with numbers. So let me erase all of this fun lava and let's talk about what it looks like with numbers and get to kind of like Owen's question. What do we do about numbers? Okay, so if it's an odd number of elements, you're in luck because you've got a clear answer. You've got the 5. And one tip that kids do and teachers do and I would certainly be making you do if I was right there in front of you, is you can go like this, like knock one off this side, knock one off that side. Knock another off this side, knock another off that side, knock another off this side, knock another off that side, and then you're left with the middle. Okay, and that's at the very beginning, you're counting how many numbers in your data set. So once I know it's an odd number, I know I can do that and get a clear answer. Now, if you count it and you see this was with 7 numbers, so we had 5 as the answer. That's the median, okay? That's the true middle. Now, notice at the beginning here, if we were to have just circled the middle, we would have circled 3, and 3 would have been wrong because that would be an unordered data set. Okay, that would be just, they just wrote a bunch of numbers. So 3 is not the middle. You have to put them in order from least to greatest first, okay? And if we go ahead down here and look at if there's an even number of elements, okay, even number of numbers in a data set B here, this is a totally new data set. Ooh, I cannot draw, forget about being artistic when you're writing on things that are vertical, okay. So down here, we have 6 numbers, okay? So I know first I gotta put it in L to G least to greatest order. So I did that here. Actually, they did it for me, I'm not gonna lie. But I have these 2 middles, and that's 4 and 5. Now, if it's as easy as the middle of 4 and 5, I'm pretty sure most of you are thinking about what the middle of 4 and 5 is. Think about what's the middle of 4 and 5? Think about the number line. Think about cutting the middle, right in the middle of 4 and 5. What would that be? Are you thinking 4.5? 4.5? You're right. Okay, so if it's as easy as the middle of 4 and 5, you could probably figure it out really quickly, but a lot of times it's not. So these numbers could be like 6.32 and 6.75, and then you're like, ew, I don't know the middle of those 2. Well, if it's that case, then you have to add them up and divide by 2. You're gonna find the average of the middle, of the 2 numbers in the middle. Okay, so you're adding them up and dividing by 2 to find the true middle. Now, if we add up 4 plus 5, we get 9, we divide that by 2, we're gonna end up with 4.5, 4.5. So that one just happened to be something we could use mental math on, but sometimes they won't be. And if they're not, you're basically just adding them up and dividing by 2, like we did here. And they showed it in a horizontal way here, but showing it in a vertical way, you add them up, you divide by 2 to get the answer. Okay, you're finding the true middle of those 2 numbers, and you're using mean to do that. Really, I'm trying to call it average, not mean, because if I start calling it mean in the middle of the median, kids get confused. So average the 2 numbers in the middle. Boom. Okay, so if there are even number of numbers, that's what you have to do. If there are an odd number of numbers, you lucked out, because there's a middle and you can find it really easily. It's really not calculating anything, it's just locating it. Okay, with an even number of numbers, that is where you're going to calculate something. It's really not a lot of math though. You're just adding the 2 middle numbers and dividing by 2. And again, remember, you can use a calculator for this. Okay, I'm not going to drive anyone crazy not using a calculator, because I want to see if you know what median is, if you know what mean is. I'm not testing whether you can add numbers. Okay, so we're focusing on the skill. All right, so here's example 2, and this one has, the first thing I'm going to do is count the numbers, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I'm so excited. Why am I excited? Why am I excited? I'm excited because I'm going to call on someone here. Andrew, why am I excited?
Because you just found the median number.
Wait, I just counted these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm excited because there's 7 numbers. Why am I excited?
Because it has, that thing you said before, with like an even amount of numbers, there is no like number in the middle you can actually find. It's like my number of fingers. You just found like my middle finger.
Oh, I'm so glad you put a very 6th grade example on that, Andrew. Yes. So this one has a clear middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andrew. Awesome. All right. So here, though, the first thing I have to do is order them from least to greatest. Because if I looked at this, it would seem that 4 is the middle. but that's not really, that's just random, guys. So we have to put them in order from least to greatest. Okay, so that's the first thing. I did that here already. Then you find the middle number, and here I crossed out 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, I could do one more, 1 and 1, and then boom, I've got the middle. I've got the median. The median is therefore 5. And 5 is representative of another way of figuring out that central tendency, the center of a data set. Okay, you could average the numbers together, add them up, divide by, how many do we have? 7. Okay, so add them up, divide by 7, you would get the mean. But here we're deciding to get the median instead as a different measure of center. Okay, a lot of times when with averages with means, that's found in sports, it's found in grade point averages, things like that. Median is used a lot of times in real estate to find out like property values. So there's different reasons why we use these different measures of center. All right, so let's do one brand new here. And I do believe I'm gonna have to change the width of my pen here because I went wild with this lava pen. Okay, and I think I have a question. Juliana, let's see if you have a question. Juliana, what's your question?
Oh, I when you did like the last question, I just forgot to lower my hand. Yeah.
Okay, well, hi, Juliana. I'll just say hi.
Hi.
Hi. I like to hear voices of other humans in this quarantine, right?
I wish we
talking
went
to you,
school.
Juliana. Thanks for coming to my Zoom lesson live.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's look here. So, oh, look what I did here. I added a little chart. So now there's not like a data set listed out. There's a chart. Same thing. Okay, so here we've got waterfall data. I went ahead and added waterfall data because I love waterfalls. We went like chasing waterfalls. What was it, last summer? Yeah. And we just loved it so much. And so this made me think of nature. And notice on our countdown today, we had the ocean. I'm really craving some nature time, guys. So it's just been too much on PowerPoint and computer. I need that nature. So we're going to use waterfall data here. So these are waterfall heights in feet, okay? Notice they're not in any order, okay? If anything, they're in alphabetical order by their name. So first we need to go ahead and put them in least to greatest order. So the first one is going to be 150. Sometimes the things that are easiest like this, you end up having problems with. Okay, 153. Now, while I'm putting these in least to greatest order, here's my trick. Cross it out. Because you could easily forget one and then get excited or something that there's an odd number of numbers or something like that. So next would be 176. That's a 7, by the way. Next is going to be 242 and then 249. Oh, I pushed the erase button. Okay. Boom, boom. And then last but not least, we have 620 feet. Whoa. Multnomah. That sounds like a pretty cool waterfall. Bridal Veil, we saw that one. I saw Bridal Veil, but the other ones, I don't know where they are. Okay, so those in least to greatest order, then we find the middle number. If there are 2 middle numbers, you find the average of the 2 by adding them together and dividing by 2. So see if you're gonna get the same answer as me. I'm gonna go ahead and cross them off one at a time. Uh-oh, there's not a true middle. So what I like to do is like box these in. This is a 7, by the way, remember. Okay, and then I just draw like a little caret or something, and then we're gonna add these together and divide by 2. So I'm gonna use my calculator. Actually, let's use this calculator, so I think you'll be able to see it, hopefully. I don't know if you will. Okay, so let's see. Thumbs up if you see the calculator. Yeah, no, yes, no, thumbs up. Anyone see the calculator? Thumbs down if you don't. Okay, Theo says you can't see it. It's because of the way I shared the screen. Here, I could probably do it right now. Watch. I wonder why you don't see it. Oh, let's just go right to the calculator like that. Okay, so I'm going to add 176 plus 242 equals, and then divide that by 2. So I'm putting it all together in one pot and then cutting it in half so that it's 2 equal parts. And I get 209. So now let's go back here and we see that our answer was 209. That was the clear middle. So that means our median is 209. Okay. And I don't know why I wrote this twice. All right, so there we go. We have it. Our middle number, our median was 209. That's the median waterfall height. Now notice that doesn't really take into account this large number at the end. Look at this big number, because this is an important thing to mention here, guys. We're going to get into something that's called an outlier. An outlier is a number that's thrown in there that's kind of like, man, not a lot, like not very common. It's not very good representation of the data. For instance, let's say on a quiz or a test, let's say most people got like in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, then all of a sudden someone got like 3% or something like that. I wouldn't want to really use an average, a mean on that, because I would be adding in a 3%. And you guys know when you add a 0 into the grade book, it is really hard to recover from that. Okay, so mean is definitely not a good measure of center if you've got an outlier, which is something that is not a common value. Okay, now that 620 is kind of an outlier. That's a huge waterfall, and not many of these have that big number. Now, when we found the median, it didn't matter that this was in the 600s, did it? It didn't matter that this one was in the 150s. All that mattered was we found like the middle of the list, okay? So really, it's not taking into account outliers. So if you have an outlier, they live on the edge of town. There's like tumbleweeds going with the outliers. That's what I always picture. If you have an outlier in your data set, medians are actually a pretty good measure of center because the outlier won't affect it, okay? Notice how we just blew right past him and went right for these two guys. So the only two guys that really mattered were these two in the middle, okay? Does that make sense to you guys? So we'll learn more about why we use mean, median, and mode as we go on, but I try to put it in as we go. All right, so just based on what we learned just now, kind of rate yourself. This is very similar to my levels of understanding in my real classroom, the one that had the emojis on it. So my rating goes from 0 to 4, 4 being the highest, so we don't have a 5. Go ahead and chat me your rating. Are you 0, which means I can't even do it, even with the help of a teacher? 4 would be, I got it, and I can actually go beyond what's taught. I feel like it's going slow. I've really got this. 3 is, you know what, I got this. And then 2 would be, I've got it, but I think I still need Miss Melanie's help a little bit. Okay, so try to think about where you would be, and I want to kind of see where everyone's got. I see a lot of people who got it, but I like to see the people that don't. Now, if you rate yourself at a 0 on this, one of the things you can do is go to my office hours. Okay, all the teachers are there every weekday. We sit in front of this computer waiting for our students to show up. Okay, now if you're just hanging out, we'd love to do that, but if there's people that come in to ask questions, we're going to go to them first. Okay, so, and we might even put you in breakout rooms if we've got several people with questions or things like that. So if you don't understand something, if you don't understand how to submit a project or a assignment, if you don't understand how to do a skill in math, please visit my office hours and I will be there for you. I'll walk you through it. I've done it several times for a bunch of you guys where I've gone back to this exact PowerPoint. We've talked about certain problems, or I've pulled up new problems, okay? Or I could pull up iExcel and, you know, try to help you on that. I've got an hour to help you. So please visit our office hours so that we can answer your questions. Sometimes it's easier than just you guys send a message and then I have to wait till I get the message and I send it back and then we're going back and forth. When you show up to office hours, we can get answers, you know, really quickly. And that's why real conversation is so important, guys. We need to bring it back. So that's the way we bring it back. All right, so I see that a lot of you are rating yourselves at 3s and 4s, so that's really good. by the way, someone asked when our office hours are. The 6th grade office hours are between 2 and 3, and our office hour meeting codes are on our EDSB pages, okay? Mine's pinned on the left side of the EDSB page, so you can go on there and join us anytime, pop in anytime between 2 and 3. It does not have to be exactly at 2, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and let's start our Gizmo activity. I'm going to model a couple questions for you and then send you on your way to do it on your own and remind you what you have to do for today, which was IXL, watch the video that I'm assigning you from Math Antics, and then going back and doing this Gizmo tool. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the Gizmo, which is here. So let's go to Gizmo. All right, now let's hope that this takes you into a student view. That's what I'm hoping. All right, so I made this little tiny URL, brings you right here. Monday, we found the mean of these little froggies on a log. Okay, today you need to switch this to find median. So this is different. We've got a scale. So this was on Monday. This is what it's gonna look like if you're doing it right for today, okay? And then our data set are these little dots over here. We're going to drag and put them, or you get to make your own data set essentially. Make sure that this is not checked. If you check the calculate mean, it will just give you the straight up answer. And I know you guys love that, but I'd rather, since I'm not seeing it, there's no point in cheating. You might as well do it the right way and actually learn something. So don't check that until you're ready to check yourself. It's a self-checking activity. So I'm going to just randomly make this data set. So I'm going to put a 3, another 3. You know what? Let's ask some people to make a data set. I have 2 3s here. Raise your hand if you want to help make a data set with me. All right. Let's say Jaden. I'm going to call on you. Hey, Jaden. Thanks for coming.
Hey.
Hey, what other numbers do you want me to put in this data set?
10.
10, okay. What else?
7.
7, okay. What else?
2.
2, okay. Give me a couple more.
6.
6. I feel like we're playing the lotto here. All right, what's
5.
5? All right. And you could double up on numbers too, Jaden. So
Yeah.
what else?
Another 6.
Another 6, okay.
And
What else? What? Jaden, what's another number?
To bother me about.
Jaden, you there?
And it just don't make no sense.
Yeah, it's freezing.
Like, not like just to talk shit.
What'd you say, buddy?
Maybe something about work, but it has nothing to do with it.
I
And I'm like,
can't.
why are you, what is the problem?
I'm sorry, I can't quite hear you. So I'm going to put 2 more down. All right, so I've got my data set there. And let's see here. Okay, so I've got the data set and they're in order from least to greatest. So that's kind of cool that they order them from least to greatest. And they're all like that. So now, oh, look at this little guy, this little drag and drop. Let me see if I can slide this sucker. Okay, so, oh yeah. So we've got 1 on the, so we have 10 numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from this side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness. So sometimes this happens. The middle, thankfully, Jaden chose 2 6s. So if the 2 middle numbers are both the same number, then that's your answer. So the median here would be 6 because that's the middle. The true middle would be right there. Okay, so to find the median, notice this scale. It's exactly balanced. So in order to find the middle, the median, the true median, your scale should look like that, exactly balanced. If it's not, then you're not finding the right number. So I'm gonna go ahead and click calculate median, and it tells you that the median is 6, so we were right. All right, so I'm gonna clear it and get somebody else to choose one more data set for us. How about Cy Young? Let me see if I'm doing that correct. Mr. Cy Young, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey buddy, how are you?
Good.
my Avion. Okay, can you pick 8 to 10 numbers for us?
Okay, 3.
Yep. Oops, I did something wrong. Okay, what
4.
after
Yeah,
after
no,
3? What
4.
else?
4.
4. Okay, thanks. What else?
7.
Uh-oh, look what I did. I made a mistake. Boo-boo. I had it on calculate the median, which is going to be what you guys want to do, but uncheck it so that you know what you're doing. That's just to check yourself. Okay, go ahead. 3, 4,
7.
7,
2 9s.
2 9s. Okay. What else?
A 1.
A 1,
And 3 5s.
3 5s. I like that. Okay. Actually, that's a pretty good way of going about it, Mr. Sai, because you kind of, I mean, I have a feeling that 5 might factor into being our median. If you stack it up like that in the middle, then you have a pretty good chance. Okay, so now let's go over 1, 2. Oh, wait, how many numbers did you pick? 9. Okay, so there's a clear middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. So this is going to be my middle. See how it's completely balanced? That's my true middle side. See how he stacked it up like that? I don't know if he did on purpose, but if your data set looks like that, where you have 3 on the left and then 3 on the right, then you're going to have a clear middle, and that is 5. So let's check it. Yep, middle value is 5. We got it perfectly balanced. We did it right. Now, if you want to go and find the mean of that as well, you can, or if you just want to click on it and see what it would be, you could do that, and it would show you that the mean would be about 5.33, which is kind of cool to figure out how the mean and the median are similar or different, and they're both around 5. So sometimes the mean and median are very similar. All right, so this is what you guys are doing today. Just do it a couple times, 2 to 3 times with some data sets. Find the mean, find the median. Tomorrow, we are not going to use this for mode because it's pretty clear cut what mode is. We are going to play GimKit though. So let's go back to the PowerPoint to remind you what you have to do when you leave me today. Oh, everything got really big. Okay. So reminders, on your own time, you are doing a graded IXL skill today. Search AAP and you will get to the right skill, okay? Then you're gonna watch the math antics video, which is attached to my journal post and also right here for your clickable pleasure. And then you're going to do the Gizmo activity on median. The directions are right here on the slide preceding this. If you send me a picture of you guys doing the Gizmo tool activity, which no one's done yet, you will be guaranteed included in my teacher Instagram because nobody's done it yet. So if you go ahead and send me a pic of you doing that, I would love to see, you working from home, miss seeing that. So send me a picture. And that's it, guys. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you. I keep saying tomorrow, guys, but I mean Friday. So on Friday, we are going to learn about mode and range. We're going to play GimKit. So go ahead and do that graded IXL skill. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye. Come to my office hours if you have any questions.